We will continue this section with a change of venue, a change of scenery. This time we will deal with the banking system and the so-called 2007-2008 credit crunch. Please keep in mind that the reference to this is contained in the chapter number that is on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. The information and the matters that you're about to hear are things which the banks and your government do not want you to learn about or to hear about. The system of banking that we have in most parts of the world are based on what is called the fractional reserve system. What this means is that a small proportion of the bank's deposits are held in reserve by the central bank. What happens from this point, every dollar, every pound that your bank lends does not necessarily have to come from the balance that it holds of its depositors' funds from that which is lodged with the central bank. The next step works this way. When you go to your bank for an overdraft or a mortgage, the bank processes your application, and when it comes to funding your application, it does not mean that they take funds, the balance of funds, which is held from depositors' funds, if you like. What happens is that by way of a book entry, your bank creates from thin air money. This money, created by book entry, is then made available to you for the purchase of your house, your car, whatever. So in practice, whilst your bank may have deposited with the central bank, for argument's sake, $1 billion, £1 billion, in practice, when you look at the total amount of money that has been lent out by your bank, that total may represent many, many times more than the amount lodged with its central bank. In fact, not just many times, but could well be 100 times more than it has lodged with the central bank. In fact, more importantly, the total amount of money that it has outstanding in what it calls its assets could represent 100, 200 times more than it actually holds in depositors' funds. So as you can see, the more money that a bank has lent out represents more asset that it has created. So let's just recap on that. Your bank has created money from nothing. This money is not represented by cash. It is not represented by reserves of gold. It is money created from thin air, from nothing. And if you don't believe the voice of the world on these matters, then I refer you to this very point made by a former governor of the Bank of England, Josiah Stamp. So I think that you can see very clearly that your bank, whilst it may take money from you in deposits and may pay you a measly pittance of an interest rate, and in many cases in regard to current accounts pays you nothing in the way of interest, then lends that back out again, perhaps 100 or 200 times more than that, at highly exorbitant and highly profitable interest rates to the bank. The net result, of course, is that the intention of the bank, firstly, is to make money, but secondly, in the practice of lending money to you, means that you then have become a slave to the banks for the term of that loan, or in many cases, for the term of your life. Once again, I urge you to purchase a copy of the movie The Internationalist, and this will be explained to you in very clear and concise terms. Explained in the movie by an Italian defence contractor, who, as it turns out, was assassinated in the movie just minutes after making these facts very clear